All right, everybody, welcome to this one time at summer camp where we do everything great. Yes, I'm one of your
Where
hosts,
we do you say
Jeff.
where we do everything great?
Yeah, like
That's
clapping.
that's our
We're,
new
we're great at
that's our
clapping.
new catchphrase.
Yep, we do it all. So I'm one of your hosts, Jeff Thompson, and I've got my two co-hosts here. I've got John Davidson. Yep,
Did you
and
just
I've got
wave
Aaron
on a
Colick. Yep,
podcast? You waved on a podcast,
yeah.
John.
Oh, we're not recording these anymore?
Everyone could hear that. We're doing
Oh,
Yeah.
video
okay.
too. Yeah.
Listen to my wave, ASMR.
Aaron is here too. He's the other person.
That's me, the other
Other guy.
guy.
And his drink is very
Mm.
coordinated with his shirt today.
Oh, that really
I'm,
is. I didn't even notice that.
dude, that's
Yeah.
amazing. I'm wearing a Mandalorian shirt. I'm very happy with
Ooh,
the shirt
yeah,
today.
you are.
You got Baby Yoda and everything.
I can't see Baby
Somewhere.
Yoda.
There he is,
Oh,
right
there he
there.
is. Nice. All right, cool. Well, we're going to start off with a fun get to know you question that I prepared in advance and not 3 minutes ago. Um, so,
Believe.
what I want to know is what is your favorite meal of the day? Breakfast, lunch, or dinner? And if you have like a favorite food as well, I'd love to know that.
This is so easy. I'm not used to these easy questions.
I'm just
All right.
curious.
You
Because
go
I
first.
skipped lunch.
You go first, man.
I'll go first. I'm Jeff Thompson. I'm the current program director at Lutherdale, Wisconsin, and former program director at Sugar Creek in Wisconsin. Nice face, Aaron. Um, my favorite meal of the day is probably breakfast, even though it's the one I eat the least. But I always enjoy breakfast foods because I think they're the most versatile and just delicious.
Most versatile. What do you mean by that?
Like you can have cold breakfast, like really simple. You can have super elaborate breakfast. You can have like
Oh.
there's so many varieties of what breakfast could be. There's just it's
Mm.
all over the board. There's no limits.
Hmm.
So yeah.
I like that. Let's see. My name is Aaron Colick. I am the former program director at Briarwood Retreat Center and at Camp Stoney. And my favorite meal of the day is also breakfast. Because I love, again, like Jeff, it's the one I eat the least. But I love like eggs over easy and bacon and sausage and waffle, like all stuff. But what I really love about it is you can eat it for any of the meals. Like you can get breakfast, you can have brunch, you can have dinner. It's the best. It is the most versatile, but in the way
Right.
of it, like it works for every meal. Like no one's gonna be sad to eat pancakes for dinner.
I think that Brenner is somebody's name, probably.
Great name.
Um,
I have a goddaughter named Bryn Lee.
Brinley, okay.
Yeah.
Brenner would be like,
Did you just send the definition for versatile?
yeah,
Is that
you
what
asked
you
what
did?
versatile was, so I'm just helping you out.
Thank you.
Coming in clutch, John.
All right. My name is John Davidson. I was the former program director at Luther Heights Bible Camp in the beautiful state of Idaho, located right down south next to Louisiana. It's really big. You can't miss it. Um, come there. You'll see Aaron.
Oh, that's me.
My favorite meal of the day and my favorite breakfast food is, well, okay, yeah, my favorite meal is breakfast. My favorite
Yeah,
breakfast
look at
food
that.
Look at us, man.
is the potato. Because what I do is I chop it up into small pieces and then I throw in sausage, like pork sausage, and veggies and eggs and cheese and make a hash all together. And it's just absolutely good and gets me going in the morning. And Aaron just called me.
Nope, nope, no, no.
Oh god. Oh,
And that's
God.
my answer.
Great answer,
Do
John.
y'all remember the breakfast that we had in Breckenridge? Because we were tired of eating the like
Oh, that
hotel
was the
breakfast.
greatest breakfast I've ever had.
And we had that, like it was like the bagel place or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, so good. I think that was probably the last time we all had breakfast together.
Okay, that's depressing.
It's true though.
All right.
Oh
Hang on,
yeah.
hang on. That was it. Clint's Bakery and Coffee in Breckenridge, Colorado. Check it out.
Oh, good shout out. Good shout out.
Yeah,
Clint, if you would like to sponsor our podcast,
yeah.
we
Seriously.
are, we are more than open to reading an advertisement for you.
Yeah. Well, I enjoyed that all of our favorite meal was breakfast. That's
Yeah,
just
that's pretty cool.
sounds about right.
Sounds right.
Yeah, I'm gonna turn it over to John because John, you've got our camp hack for the week.
Oh boy, do I. All right. So this is a camp hack that was sent in to us by a former counselor from Briarwood, Nina. And
Hi,
she,
Nina.
hey Nina,
Hello.
let me find it here. Okay. She was a camp counselor down in Briarwood, and she is from Germany. So she was coming from, a little ways away to the great state of Texas to spend her summer, and probably didn't know much about what was going on in Texas. So her camp pack is to send a pack list before camp, and I'll read off what she wrote here. She had spent time in the US before, but I still didn't think about that maybe a bikini would not be well received, since in Germany they are totally okay to wear at camp.
Mm.
I also didn't bring a backpack because campsites here are not as large, so I don't need to carry things around with me like a water bottle or a Bible. The packing list is because once we get to camp, there's no time to go shopping and you don't have a car. The packing list is super important. Um, you could argue that the exchange organization has to take care of that, but you never know how good a job they do. Plus, Nina's told her that when I was already in the US, I had to spend a lot of money on a new bathing suit, even though I had one back home, instead of
Mm-hmm.
having it shipped over. More importantly, the counselor will have to feel at home in camp, and something like this packing list will go a long way for that consideration. Packing lists are huge. I think on all of our camps websites, you can find a link
Mm-hmm.
to a packing list. And not just for campers, but for staff especially. They're going to be spending, some of them, 10 weeks at camp. They need an idea of what they're going to need. My first summer, I brought a sleeping bag. I think my third summer, I brought twin size sheets,
Yeah.
and it just felt that much more comfortable. Change of shoes, socks, bathing suit that's right, whatever. Packing lists are super important, especially
Mhm.
for those coming from a completely different culture and environment, like
Mhm.
Nina.
So true.
Yeah,
Good job.
I think the big thing though is like the linens, because I mean we don't even think about that. We're like, yeah, staff will bring a sleeping bag, whatever. So you just throw it on there. But for these international staff, like flying with a sleeping bag, pillow, and all that stuff in your suitcase is
Yeah.
just so much. So I got in the
Yeah.
habit of, that was one of the first things I told them is don't bring that. We will give you linens.
Yeah.
Don't
Nice.
fly all the way here with
Great.
that. That's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Oh, they're so heavy.
Yeah.
Well, and they take up so much space,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's super
I
true.
we never had international staff at camp. We did have a few here and there that had come from other countries and wanted to stay at camp for a few weeks, and so it was kind of we'll throw them into the program and let them have some fun, but it was never like a full on counselor.
Right.
Cool. Well,
Um,
oh, you have something more?
No, I was just gonna say thank you, Nina.
Yeah.
That's awesome, and it was a fun summer, and I'm glad. Yeah, we did have to make I think it was like a few days in, we made a Walmart run for Nina and our other international counselor named Laura. Remember the story I told where I came into Briarwood and we had two staff members and that was it?
Oh,
She
yeah.
was one of them.
Hey!
She was one of them, and the other one was the other international counselor named Laura
Oh
from
my
Colombia.
goodness.
So
All right.
she was my first
Oh.
hire. Woo!
Well, technically, you didn't hire her because she was already employed, right?
Shut up, Jeff.
Get wrecked.
Cool. All right. Well, thank you, Dina. Thank you, John, for sharing that as well. And we're going to go over to Aaron now for our story, the main
All
event.
right, y'all.
Hi, Aaron.
Hi, John. Um, this story comes to us from the year 2004. It is about the end of July, and this is at Camp Stoney. And Camp Stoney's a little different than a lot of other camps, where you don't have essentially like a central like theme that you run as far as like this is what camp looks like week after week after week. Each week is a different week. And so you had like adventure week, and so like everybody goes backpacking, or you had Harry Potter camp and the whole week is themed around Harry Potter, or Narnia camp, same deal. You'd have like the regular traditional camp that you would think of is called summer fun, and we had 2 weeks of that, and the last week of it, which was the last week of camp, got canceled because we just didn't have enough campers. And so we're in Santa Fe, New Mexico. About half, it's a staff of about, at that point, we had 9 people. Half of them are from the state of Texas, and the other half are from New Mexico, but through a variety of cities throughout, nowhere really like super close. And so one of the things that we were left with is we don't have camp this last week. What do we do? And so our director at the time, Bill, he sat down with us and he said, okay, so here's the deal. We can send you home. Like we can end camp early and we can send you home. You won't get paid for that week, obviously. But we were like with your contract and stuff, you were given until like this end of time. And so if you want, you can stay and earn money, and there's some stuff you could do. So we had that week that we didn't know what to do with. Now, what my question to you gentlemen is, how do you handle that week of camp? I'm going to tell you, we already had, like, basically there's 9 of us. We all said, yeah, we'll stay because we enjoyed each other's company and we all wanted to earn money. But what do you do with that week to make it not just feel like what we started calling slave labor week, and just make it seem like you're just exhausted, like you want to make sure it's worthwhile? What would you do?
Oh,
All right.
man.
John, you can go ahead because we had something very similar to this summer. So or I guess if you want me
You're
to go,
prepared.
I'm very prepared with an answer. Do you need more
And
time?
I'll
to
tell
think?
you,
I-
like, this is good. This is very open to like whatever, if it like happened at your camp. You don't have to think about like
Yeah.
what would we do at Camp Stoney.
Yeah. So that happened every couple of years up at Luther Heights. We'd have a week where we typically would plan our off-site programs, and while they might run, there was nothing happening on site, or there were no day camps, something like that. And occasionally small programs size, so we had to cancel. So I've been through it as a counselor and as a program director. We did just that. We would offer that to them. They could take the week off, go home, do what they need to, or they could stay. We would feed them, we would house them, everything like that, and pay them. And then we had the lovely project list. There were so many things that I learned to do with my hands over the years. One of the big things, I planted a whole bunch of trees. I laid tubes for electrical and lines for electrical, and I put flooring down, and I built cabins, I built bathrooms, everything like that during those times. So it happened a lot, but the thing that we always did was we always made sure there was worships in the morning and the evening, whether it was, a short Devo worship or at night a full-on staff worship, something along with the theme, something we'd been visiting all summer to keep with the flow of camp, but also, giving them some time to explore the nature around them too. Well, we did have projects during the hot part of the day. We try to let them off and go to the lake or just visit the valley around us to make it feel like camp and that they weren't tied to the yoke all day, working like crazy.
That's good. Awesome. Thank you. What about you, Jeff?
Yeah, so I'm changing my answer a little bit actually, because why not? So this is down in New Mexico, right? At Camp Stoney.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, we all know that New Mexico is famous for one thing, right?
Potatoes.
Breaking Bad.
Breaking
So.
Bad, exactly. So, you know what I would do that week off is, yeah, I'm gonna have them do slave labor, but I'm gonna make it worth their time and investment. So,
No.
I would start a drug company and just like, let's make some meth down in New
Oh,
Mexico.
Oh no.
I'm sure. How big is the camp?
Uh, man,
It's pretty
big
big.
enough.
bigger than a white
Big
trash
enough.
trailer.
Yeah, so there's plenty of space on camp. You can go to the back 40, as they call it, and just like be way out in the wilderness and just start cooking. And the staff are going to learn how to use their hands. They're going to learn how to problem solve and be creative. And while it's intense physical labor, there's a reward at the end. You know, money,
Oh.
some risk as
You
well, possibly. But
learn how to cook.
You
yeah,
learn.
it's a great skill to have. Like too many people
Chemistry
come
isn't.
away out of college like not knowing how to cook a meal or
That's
meth.
true.
So
Or math. Yeah. You
It's the
know,
first thing I learned in college.
chemistry is important. So.
it is. You know, stay
Wow.
in school.
Wow. Did not see that curveball coming, Jeff, because that's exactly what we was kidding.
Oh, I knew it. I got it again.
That's hilarious. No, what we ended up doing, we had one project that Bill laid out for us, and it was we had to reshingle the bathhouse. That
Ooh,
was
fun.
like the big thing we had to do. And then there were a lot of little smaller things that could get done, like repainting benches and things like that.
Mhm.
So most of us went and reshingled it was the guy's bathhouse. I learned how to do that. I learned I don't ever want to do it again. It was terrible. And we did a lot of small projects, but he basically said, if there's anything you want to do,
Hmm.
let me know. So there was this one hike it was the Way of the Cross hike, and it's basically like you could do like the 14 stations of the cross going up this thing, but really it was just a nice, pretty hike up to the top of this ridge, and it had a good overview of camp and everything. Well, it was pretty overgrown, and there were parts that were really hard to climb just because of erosion and everything. So we said we wanted to essentially like redo the trail, especially the beginning of it, because you have to like climb up this. It's mountainous desert area. You have to climb up this like sandy, rocky area getting up to it, and a lot of kids would slip and fall and stuff, and like you'd have to help them up. So we basically said we want to redo this, so we made switchbacks going up to it and used old railroad ties, and I learned how to cut rebar with a torch to spike it into the ground. That was awesome. And we created basically like a little like steps, but also to help with the erosion of it, like I said. And we did that, and then we as a staff built a cross, a giant 10-foot wooden cross
Did you
made
crucify
from
anyone on it?
no, we did not. We did threaten, but never acted upon the threats. And there's a few of us, and we each took turns carrying this huge, like heavy cross up this mountain, essentially, and like each taking turns. And it was a very like spiritual experience. So we all really loved that. And then in the evenings, like you said, John, we would have things to do, but we decided like we would like tonight we're all gonna watch this movie together, that kind of thing. Or hey, it's Thursday. You know what we really want to do on Thursday? Have steak night. That's what we want to have on
Ooh.
Thursday. And so like asking Bill like, hey, if we pitch in, do you think you can go buy us some steaks while we work? And then him coming back and buying like huge ribeyes and be like, it's on me. And like, oh yes.
Amazing.
That week ended up being all of our favorite week of camp because of it should have been a terrible week. Like it should have been exhausting and not as much fun because the kids aren't there and stuff. But for it to be the last week, it was kind of like we're never going to have the same staff again. Like you say that every year, but it was this unique experience we could all share together. And we were tired, and there were times where we're like, I really, really need to like be by myself right now. But it was because it's the end of the summer and you're exhausted, but it was just a ton of fun. But I thought that was a good question to ask, especially in light of everything that's happening. I'm sure so many camps just dealt with all of this. But as we look forward for hosting and retreat season, and you look forward at maybe even like what is next summer even going to look like, don't get discouraged and disheartened, because there are opportunities for you to continue to be able to like do the good that camp does, which is bringing people together in a way that I really don't think you can get anywhere else. And I think that that's important to always remember. Like, you still have these opportunities to go abound. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That was beautiful.
That was.
I didn't want John to take all of the like poignant stuff. So
I will say before John can. So we actually did experience that this summer. We had a half week where we had no one on site, and we did service projects. I mean, that's everyone's go-to thing. But one kind of cool thing we did is in the morning, is just for 3 days. We did service in the morning. In the afternoon, we actually took a bunch of videos of like camp activities and like crafts and games and stuff around camp and pictures and whatnot, so that we had content for the year. Just because like when things shut down in March, we were like itching to have some virtual content for people to engage with and think about Lutherdale with, and we didn't have it. So now we're like, you know what? Let's plan ahead. We've got these summer staff here. Like, let's do a worship and record it so that we can use it later in the year. Or let's play Gaga Ball and record it, or go swimming and play.
yeah,
Like, we recorded a bunch of songs as well. But it was a good time, like, just to. It gave them a break from the work, but it was still getting work done and stuff we needed. So it was just a creative way to add some time in there to get some necessary stuff done that's not physical labor. So,
yeah, that's genius. I love that. Way to think outside that box.
and then we made meth afterwards in the night. So,
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it's a given, Jeff.
come on. Yeah.
John, what do you think? What are your thoughts? Bring it home.
Do your thing.
I mean, I thought that was all beautiful. It's after staff training, like those 2 weeks of staff training, you hardly ever get some good time with the staff members. Whether it's amongst the staff members themselves or myself with the staff members, you're always saying, all right, here's what's next, here's this week, here's all the kids we have coming, here's the program for today, please shower, whatever you have to do something. But it's hardly ever after staff training do you get that super intentional hours on end with these awesome people that are here, to share about their own experiences, to lead kids in games, whatever. So when those weeks happened, it was all, we could always come into that next week, no matter how many hours we worked on building a trail or digging a trench. That next week was always full of energy. We were always glad to see the kids back. But the staff was much closer too. And I think those years, that a lot of the friends I have now came from those years where we had weeks off, because you get to build some really intentional relationships, and you get that without weeks off in the summer too. But
No,
great
that's
times.
true. Yeah, no,
Good
that's
times.
true. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys. Thanks for listening to my TED Talk.
Yeah, thank you all for sharing. Thanks, Aaron, for the story. Thanks, John, and also Nina for the hack of the week. If any of you want to share a story with us, there's a few ways you can do it. We have a Facebook page, This One Time at Summer Camp, or you can email us at this1time@summercamp@gmail.com. We'd love to hear your stories, camp hacks, anything you want to share. We're working on some stuff for the future, and I have some ideas of some stuff. So hopefully we're bringing some new stuff your way here in the next week or month or year. Gotta leave the door open. You can't be too specific.
You can't be too specific.
Maybe around March we'll have some more stuff for you. But yeah, that's all I got. This has been This One Time in Summer Camp.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Aaron. Everybody out there, thank you for listening to us. We love you.
Peace, y'all.
See ya.
Deuces.